this was a subject I was more than happy to let lie and move on from. But over the last 2 months, the strangest things have happened. I'm still in shock about it, to be honest. I can't stress how much I suggest you watch this video right to the very end, because it gets crazier and crazier. But before we get there, let's have a little recap, in case you've no idea what I'm talking about. So this is Mohini Dey, and I've said it many times before and I'll say it again. She is an incredible bass player. It's not particularly my style, but her talent cannot be denied. However, over the last year, her move to become more business-minded began to put off some of her fans, culminating in her shock move to be the face of an advert for AI music generator Suno. Aside from her adverts, she also placed links to generative AI software above the links to hiring her, while writing strongly worded posts about other musicians, which completely backfired. And with videos appearing of her bragging about how much money she makes, before she felt she had to accept money for promoting AI music.
I was doing great work in India and I was getting paid the most as a bass player, you know? Yeah. And when I made my move to the US, it just multiplied by like 10.
Oh, and claiming that she was using this money to send back to her family in India. Then it come into light that her family in India are also promoting AI. What happened next is unusual, because whenever Mohini gets called out for something, her usual tactic is to keep completely quiet, keep posting about other stuff, and eventually it'll be buried. She could be a politician. No, please don't get any ideas. But up popped her new fella, Marco Van Bastard, a man whose entire personality seems to be based around energy drinks and Los Angeles.
What's good, guys? We're out here in Los Angeles
to see more homes. And this is our look for today.
Second day training in Los Angeles. Alani new Winter Wonderland, the new seasonal flavor.
Hey, Los Angeles.
Energy drinks,
Hawaiian Pump, and frozen shitsicles.
Everyone should find a partner that loves them as much as Marco loves Marco. And he responded with a video in Mohini's defense, which didn't successfully address any of my points, and it went down absolutely terribly, with almost all of the comments not responding in the way he'd hoped. And then, even more unexpectedly, Mohini Dey herself responded, attempting to salvage the situation.
Let me share something personal with you guys, briefly though, because I don't like to play the victim and ask for sympathy. A very tiny bathroom. And I used to spend sleepless nights working on my craft. I changed the scene a lot, I'll say that.
And the reaction was even worse. Those two videos were the worst responses I've ever seen. They say never interrupt your enemy while they're making a mistake. And I could just stand here and let them contradict themselves and each other.
We can debate ideas all day, but family is off limits. And that's the only time I'll address that.
She doesn't talk shit about your relationship with Kira. She doesn't feel the need to shit on other musicians when she could.
I see all these other musicians who can't play shit, and they are on these big tours. There's no talent, but it's just like all the outfits and seeing those people who can't even play and just look good, and they're getting the jobs that I think I deserve.
Mohini doesn't feel the need to talk shit about how you can't play the bass, about how you can't write actual music.
It needs musicians like us. I'm not talking about you.
Yes, perhaps she didn't do extensive research on the brand before collabing.
I'm also very, I would say mature and wise with the decisions and choices I make with the projects I want to see myself in.
Unfortunately, she didn't have the knowledge that they were illegally stealing musicians' data.
For me, it's contributing to the world in a way that makes it smarter, more thoughtful, and forward-thinking. And that's what I'm trying to do. Evolve, adapt, and help move music and people forward.
She doesn't throw personal jabs at your personal life.
Knowing that your partner is a woman and watching you build a career, tearing people down, is troubling. It's not about the disagreement. It's what you're normalizing, and it's not cool.
But that one caught my attention, and it took me a couple of listens to realise that she's insinuating that my partner is unsafe around me.
It's deeply concerning to me when hating on people becomes content, especially when it's directed at women. And it seems to happen more often. knowing that your partner is a woman and watching you build a career, tearing people down, is troubling. It's not about the disagreement. It's what you're normalizing and it's not cool.
Well, now that Tash Bandicoot has revealed my partner online, I just want to say, do you really think this woman is going to take any shit off a man, let alone this guy? She'd knock me out, man. Also, I'm not going to refrain from criticising Mohini Dey just because she's a woman. I don't see genders, only bastards. And I see a big one. And this is even worse. Look at this comment on the thumbnail accusing me of body shaming against her. Where the hell has that come from? She's just made it up with absolutely nothing to back it up. Thankfully, people realised this. Those kinds of false allegations can be so damaging in this day and age, and I have taken that very seriously. And that was just a tiny glimpse into an emerging pattern of troubling behaviour, which I'm going to reveal to you later in this video. But now, let's look at one very unexpected part of Mohini's response, which was to double down on her use of AI, defend being paid to advertise it, and then promote it even further.
AI is not a trend. It's not going anywhere. And pretending that it won't exist anywhere, it's not going to stop the progress. It's only going to leave you behind. I choose to evolve. And that's why I don't panic when the world changes. We can either fear the future or we can shape it.
Bollocks to AI music. This is absolute madness from someone who claims that most of their income comes from session work.
Where does most of your revenue come from?
It comes from recordings. I have a huge clientele that I record for.
You are promoting your replacement. This is what's going on in the world of music right now.
AI music company Suno is generating 7 million songs a day.
Hi, you guys.
Multi-million-dollar record deal. Now Billboard says Monet has hit one of its radio charts.
BBC introducing West Midlands have announced their Artist of the Month. Every single one of his tracks is AI generated.
The entire US music industry made around 57,000 tracks a year. Now, one smaller streaming site receives more than 21 million AI tracks a year. This means that if someone else gets a whole load of streams, they are actually taking money away from everyone else.
So most listens to AI music is actually fraud?
Yes. Right now that more than 70% of the streams...
This absolutely sucks. Warner Music Group just became the first major label to officially partner with the AI song generator Suno.
It's not really enjoyable to make music now.
Why'd you say that?
It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice. You need to get really good at an instrument or really good at a piece of production software.
There's a class of techno-capitalists who are currently using generative AI as a means of wealth extraction. They do this by circumventing intellectual property laws.
Yeah, we know that there are some copyrighted works in our training data.
And then sell you back the gamified experience of making music.
It's a little bit like a video game.
And outside of music?
My name is Gayan Potter and I'm the new voice of Scott Real.
No, I'm not.
So that's a robot?
That's a robot version of me.
That AI had invented a story about how our name has ties to white supremacy.
So just recently, quite a few stories came out about AI grifters presenting their generated work as real art at art conventions and artist alleys.
Asking ChatGPT to write one email is the equivalent of pouring out an entire water bottle.
Facilities like this are being used to power things like ChatGPT and other AI tools that are becoming integrated into our daily life. These facilities put extraordinary demand on the power grid.
The house is here, and the data center is right there.
It's less than 400 yards. And a cold water pressure in the kitchen. Those are the things we have to fill up to flush the toilets.
You can see the sediment from the data center. Wow, and that's just from the water coming out of your faucet.
There's nothing that you can do, and they don't care.
That is horrible, man. I understand that AI can be useful for things like medical procedures, but to cause destruction like that for music, and not just music, shite music. Now in those clips you may have heard the voice of Adam Neely, musical genius. And the way he talks, man, he uses them like big intelligent words. Some of them are like that long. You know, for example, what I'd call a cup of coffee, he'd call
a caffeine delivery mechanism.
And he put this next bit into words better than I ever could.
You know, there's this overwhelming sense I get right now from headlines and from, I don't know, how people are talking about this, that AI is here. It is omnipresent in society and that we must adopt it. And people who think otherwise are just being Luddites and they will be put in the dustbin of history. The people pushing this narrative, of course, are the ones who have the most financially to gain from it.
Yep. Such as who, Adam?
That's Mohini Dey, lending her weight as one of the great modern bass players to promoting this idea that the future is here and inevitable with Suno. Suno's marketing department spending a lot of money trying to make their product feel like a part of the zeitgeist.
However, in Adam's infinite wisdom, he actually said something I really don't agree with.
But, you know, I want to be fair to Mohini Dey and any of the other social media influencers who have worked with Suno. Clearly, there's something in the platform that they think is cool and worth promoting.
I don't believe for 1 second that Mohini Dey actually uses it or has an opinion about it at all, actually. She's just getting paid a lot of money to say good things about it. Which is why I'll never do sponsored adverts, man. How can you trust anyone like that? Anyway, so by Christmas I'd kind of moved past all that, and I was having far too good a time to be worrying about Mohini and the amazing Technicolor twat. But I did keep an eye on things, and wait till you see this. On Christmas Eve, despite bragging about how she earns the most money, and then accepting the Suno AI money, she then put up a list for people to buy her new things for her house. I mean, for a start, I've just moved house, and the thought never once crossed my mind to ask all you lot for a 75-inch telly and some new f***ing towels. But look at this. How ironic can you get here? A high-pressure shower head. Remember this poor woman.
And cold water pressure in the kitchen.
And just to put the cherry atop this cake of shite, this is what she posted the very next day, on Christmas Day. What a bastard. I have no other words. But it turns out, other people did. The last couple of months, I've had floods of emails and messages from people who have worked with Mohini or have been connected with her in some way. Some thanking me because public perception of her is finally changing and people are just beginning to see what she's really like. Some of these people were very famous musicians who had never contacted me before, and it was pretty surreal to see them in my inbox. One piece of evidence that I was sent a couple of times was this video.
Check it out. I just caught this guy taking so many pictures of me and videos of me, all me, at the airport. So many.
Go to EY, no?
So many. Yeah. So there you go. And come here.
Just shoot him like that.
This is the guy.
So this was a situation where she noticed this guy taking pictures of her in an airport. Now, I understand the dangers here for women around creepy men, but her reaction was to take the guy's phone. She then had him arrested and beaten up, fired from his job, and as well as putting his face to her hundreds of thousands of followers, she then did the same to the guy's girlfriend.
Look at that.
Which I can't understand at all. And bearing in mind she claims she was the most well-known bassist in India at the time, and in her own words,
I get picture taken everywhere. I'm an artist, like, no.
And I started to see the pattern of accuse, threaten, expose.
Nobody will have a thing to say about me because I've never given anybody the opportunity. Because then what will happen is I will be brutally honest and I will publicly expose you. You think I'm not going to do that? I'm totally going to do that. You haven't seen that side of me and you don't want to, because I'm capable of doing things that no other man is capable of.
That wasn't about some potentially creepy guy. That was just a disagreement with some promoter over money or something. Other examples involve a podcast that I've been on, actually, and it's just a non-profit, collaborative bit of fun. She responded to the request to come on the podcast with a very blunt email saying she doesn't work for free, which is fair enough, but then posted this video.
You think we're just sitting in our studios doing free work and it's paying everything? No. It's time. It's effort. It's accommodating ourselves for something that you want.
To be fair to her there, she didn't actually publicly name the podcast. And then there was this bizarre clip of Mohini getting a piercing which got infected, and then she wanted to expose the piercer.
Never had any piercings or tattoos that got infected, you know? Like, my skin heals, like, really fast and good. I have a video of her piercing me.
Now, something else that people got in touch about, and I can't believe I didn't pick up on this myself, is that she uses ChatGPT whenever she writes something positive or inspiring in her posts. Even reviews of instruments that she's been paid to give her opinion on, but has plenty of her own words when she's tearing down other musicians. Make of that what you will. Now, a lot of the people that got in touch with me were from India, and they were pretty upset with all the claims from her pioneering this playing style and being the most prominent bass player in the country, when I'm told her style has been developed by many Indian musicians over the decades, and she never cites them as influences since arriving in America. There were also claims that she stole this song and claimed it as her own on her album. But I know nothing about Indian music, so I can't comment on that. Then there were claims of cultural appropriation due to her hair, blue-eyed contact lenses, and sudden accent change.
I was gonna go see them in Nashville, but I was performing that day at the San Jose Jazz Festival with my band, and so I decided to catch their very last show.
But also, I'm not going to comment on any of that, because remember these 4 lads from Northern England? And one more that I really can't verify, but I was contacted by someone from the Bollywood press. Now, while it is common knowledge that Mohini began her affair with Marco while she was still married to saxophonist Mark Hartsuch, causing the end of their marriage, my sources suggested that the news of her divorce was engineered by Mohini to hit the Indian news on the same day as the divorce of A.R. Rahman, and then she went public claiming the connection was hurtful and used the spotlight to promote her music.
It's a personal matter and it's painful. And I have my own band as well and own music that I tour with.
Like I said, I know nothing about that, but she definitely seems settled in this relationship. Bloody hell. I hope that's henna. What is always frustrating when I make these kind of videos is that the tales that were often the most disturbing are the ones that I've been asked not to share publicly. And there was more this time than ever, with many more stories of people getting exposed by her online, and recurring tales of not lasting long with artists she'd worked with because of trying to be the main character. I couldn't see that, could you? Now, every single one of these people wanted to remain anonymous here, and I also got some pretty ominous warnings about the dangers of crossing this woman. And it got me wondering why people are so afraid of her, and I started connecting a few things together. In a few clips, she hints at these other companies she's involved with behind the scenes.
You have 2 side companies?
Yeah.
Are they employees?
They're employees, yeah.
How many employees do you have?
3.
3 employees.
3, yeah.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, and they're all remotely working, and it's great.
Where are they based? I can't say that either?
No.
And I thought, who is she working with here? And where is this sudden interest in AI and being an entrepreneur come from? And then I found out. All Mohini's top songs on Spotify are linked to an artist called Darwin, and every 5 posts or so on her Instagram are collaborations with this band. But who is this mysterious unnamed band leader in the sunglasses, wig and beanie who never reveals his true name or identity? I searched the internet with no luck until I came across a single 2-year-old Reddit post. David Wallerstein, called the most powerful American at Tencent. Tencent being a Chinese multinational technology conglomerate and one of the highest grossing multimedia companies in the world. A company being increasingly controlled by the Chinese government, blacklisted by the USA because of its ties to the Chinese military, and a 5% stake in Tesla.
Are you, though, however, at this point currently concerned about the direction for Tesla, given Elon Musk's distractions over at Twitter?
Well, I think, that's a tricky question.
And, of course, also run generative AI platform Tencent Music, with David Wallerstein also personally investing in AI companies such as Benchling, Scaled Inference, Robco, and whatever the hell Humans and is. Are you beginning to connect the dots?
Unanimous consent to your every whim.
AI is not a trend. It's not going anywhere.
There's a class of techno-capitalists who are currently using generative AI as a means of wealth extraction.
Concerned about the direction for Tesla, given Elon Musk's distractions.
It's a Tesla
Model Y.
And
I am free.
It's not going to stop the progress. It's only going to leave you behind.
The people pushing this narrative, of course, are the ones who have the most financially to gain.
Using AI as a creative tool.
And people who never had the tools before now have the tools.
These technologies are really very modern tool sets.
I only ever wanted to be a musician, you know. How the hell have I got to this point? If my channel suddenly and mysteriously disappears, I get caught up in a crippling international lawsuit, or they find me in a ditch somewhere, I'd just like to thank you all for what's been a wonderful few years. I'm sure there will be some sort of serious retaliation from their side over this video, but bollocks to them. I am sick of living in fear of rich and powerful people. And you, please stay away from all this shite and help keep real music alive and encourage young people to get together with their mates in a garage and write 3-chord songs for the good of humanity. Nobody's a villain in their own story, but please believe me that these are the bad guys. They're on the wrong side of history. They belong to the dark side of the Force. And don't accuse me of that either, Mohini. You know I didn't mean that. This is the good side. I am Frodo Baggins. I am Luke Skywalker. Well, more like Yoda, actually. Going back to the matter at hand, I do see the good in Mohini Dey. I know it's a tough industry, and she's had to fight her way to the top, and I can't imagine the struggles. And anything that I've got wrong, I will happily take back and apologise for. But right now, as far as I can see, the bad is far outweighing the good with her. But it's not too late to change. That is why I make these kinds of videos. Yes, they might be loaded with insults for the audience's entertainment, but the ultimate message is, you can change for the better. I can't imagine you've ever said sorry for anything in your life, Mohini, but at least take back your stance on AI, take down those bloody adverts, and in general, just stop being a bastard. But there is one final tiny thing that I almost forgot to mention, actually. I was intrigued by the adverts that you put out for Suno AI, and so I thought I'd check it out. And you're right, really, it does need that extra human touch. And so throughout this long video, every single bit of background music is AI generated with a single prompt from your bass playing. I took your bass recordings and now have albums and albums of material generated by a single click from your music. And what could I do next? Put them onto streaming and start getting paid for them? Maybe I could mime along to them with a fake generated woman's body, which leads to a fake adult content website. And what could you do about it? Note, I'm not going to do any of that because I'm not a horrible person. But people can and will do those things. And you'd probably never know. And even if you did know, there's nothing you could do about it. This is what you are promoting. And now for my closing thought. This world is intricately stitched together. Every thread we pull, we know not how it affects the design of things. We are but children on this earth, pulling bolts out of the Ferris wheel, thinking ourselves to be gods. And as I stand before you, I may appear about as far away from a god as you can possibly imagine. But I'm still a damn sight closer than you two cold-hearted, money-grabbing, horrible bastards. Now fuck off!
It's really exhausting to be perfect all the time and be amazing and incredible all the time, you know?